figure just turn the video on as I go up Johnson Hill Road in Chester. Sometimes you see different animals. I've seen deer and bear, owls, eagles. I'm sure today you'll see nothing. Just see what happens. It's a pretty steep hill. When we first moved here, when we first got to the area 10 years ago or so, this road was not paved, or most of the road wasn't paved. Only a couple hundred yards at the bottom and the top were paved. The rest was just gravel. And the depth of the winter, most the road was closed. The first season we were here, my old pickup truck was coming down this road, and the gas tank fell off because the road was so, before it was paved, it was so bumpy and treacherous. It hit something, hit a bump in the road, and literally the gas tank on the Ford Explorer, I think it was, just literally popped off. Down to the side, I don't know if you can see it, there's a stream. It's Johnson Hill Road. A lot of deer in the area. Off to the side, it's a pretty steep, I don't call it a cliff, I'm going to call it a pretty steep drop. Down there somewhere, you can see a carcass of a truck, pickup truck that looks like it fell off the side 40, 50 years ago, just kind of left there. These guardrails are new. They just went up within the last year. Before that, there weren't no guardrails. So coming down here in winter was even more treacherous. I'm sure you're seeing this, but it's a pretty S-shaped road, curvy in some spots. And this is a town that has, I don't know how to explain it, not a lot of traffic in this town, not a lot of money in this town for things like road maintenance. So in the winter, not a lot is spent on sanding and salting and plowing the roads. They keep the roads are cleaned more or less at some point, but not, the first couple days after a heavy snowfall. These back roads may not get attention right away, so they tend to become pretty dangerous. Like I said, it's gotten better the last couple years, certainly since they paved the road. About a year ago, the state police somehow sued the town because there's an accident, and they determined the reason for the accident was that the guy responsible for plowing the roads hadn't done his job, and the reason the person died was because the town hadn't properly plowed the road. So I think the town's trying to be a little bit more conscientious about keeping the roads clear, but a town like this doesn't have a lot of money. It's not as easy as you might think. Top of the hill. Take a right onto Ingell Road, I-N-G-E-L-L. And after a couple feet, this road is no longer paved, it's just a dirt road. Carrie and I saw a black bear here a couple of years ago. We pulled over and we're looking at this little black bear cub up in a tree. We got out of the car, we're looking at it, and we realized, oh, wait a minute. There's a cub in the tree. Mama bear must be somewhere nearby. So we quickly got ourselves into the car and just let the cub alone. road's been widened since we moved here. It was quite a bit narrower. It was adequate for one car at a time. Even now, if there was another car coming the opposite direction, a bigger pickup truck or something, one of you would have to pull off to the side or even back up a bit. As soon as the thaw comes, this road just turns into ruts and you get stuck in these deep gouges of mud until early spring when the town comes along and levels the road out again. All this property up here used to belong to one family. In fact, it was the family that owned the property we live on. That was where their house was. And these people took care of horses. I forget which, it was like one of the horse racing tracks in New York or New Jersey or something. It would house the horses up here in the off season. And so all this land was paddocks for different horses. And over time, all these houses, shacks that were built, became the houses of the people who tended the horses. I met an elderly lady came by our house one time. She was the daughter of the guy who had been this horse guy. She told me the story. She was coming up to the area just to reminisce. There's a little cemetery on our property. Or some headstones or ashes and remains, and she was coming to visit that, I guess. Now we'll take a left onto my road, Abbott Hill Road. That's our lower field. That field's 17 or 18 acres. There's a pond down there. That's almost one big hay field. I've tried to have a garden down there, but that particular area is a little too wet. The barn and the house. We've seen moose down this field in the spring. They usually hang right at the tree line. Actually, we saw them the year I put out some salt licks. I hung them on the tree line, and that drew some moose to it. It's funny, I still put on my blinker when turning, even though never had a situation where there's been another car on this road. And then our driveway.